Top psychological thriller anime that you need to watch. Angels of Death is a 2018 psychological series, based on the video game of the same name. This chilling series follows a young girl named Rachel, who wakes up to find herself in a strange, unfamiliar place with no visible way out. She meets a serial killer named Zack along her way, and the two team up, exploring the building and searching for an escape. As they ascend each floor, they encounter many horrific enemies, who all seem to have a mysterious connection to Rachel. Angels of Death is a dark and twisted horror, featuring a deep, well-written story that makes its audience think. Unafraid to touch on heavier subjects, the series gets pretty grim at times, so viewers should beware.
殺してやるよ。
私立百花王学園。この名門校には階級制度がある。ただ、ギャンブルの強さのみ。
Kakegurui is one of the most beloved modern psychological thrillers out there, starring a cast of thrill seekers who are more than willing to risk it all. The series follows the students of a very different high school, where the wealthy and prestigious participate in risky gambling to determine their class rank. However, this order gets shaken up when protagonist Yumiko Jabami enters the academy. While most students gamble for status, she plays merely for the thrills, taking on some of the most dangerous risks imaginable. Kakegurui follows Yumiko's exhilarating adventures as she takes on her fellow classmates and puts it all on the line.
東京は午後3時過ぎから闇に包まれ、
新宿方面ではところによりでっかい火花が上がるでしょう。
じゃあ皆さん、素敵な一日を。
Terror in Resonance is a suspenseful series depicting the effects of the absolute horror raw fear can generate. The story begins with a nuclear threat made during a terrorist attack on Japan. Chaos ensues and authorities frantically search for the perpetrator, but to no avail until 6 months later, when a video of two boys who call themselves Sphinx surfaces. The Sphinx challenges the police directly, threatening to cause even more destruction if they can't capture them. This new set of threats sends the public into a complete uproar, and the panic leaves police utterly helpless in the race to stop Sphinx. Terror in Resonance is a frightfully suspenseful series that's just as disturbing as it is fascinating.
この世界をみんな壊しちゃうの？
決められた時間までエッグの子を守る。それが最優先だ。
私たちの最大の目的はワンダーエッグプライオリティ。
Wonder Egg Priority is a unique title within the psychological genre, blending together elements of horror and fantasy to create a completely original coming-of-age story. The story follows Ai Udo, a young girl who feels she has nothing left to live for after the tragic loss of her best friend. After acquiring a strange object known as a Wonder Egg, she finds herself in a bizarre new world where she's tasked with saving others from their personal struggles. Like several other psychological series, Wonder Egg Priority grapples with many difficult subjects and challenges its audience to face many of life's toughest realities. The series covers a range of human emotions, from regret and sorrow to fear and trauma, delving deep into these feelings in a thoughtful and fascinating way.
友達なのにどうして相談してくれなかったのかって。どうして？
ひなずきかよ。あれがひなずきを見た最後の姿だった。
The murder mystery series Erased follows 29-year-old Satoru Fujinuma, a young struggling mangaka with a mysterious power. He uses his time-traveling gifts to prevent tragedies and save lives. However, during one of Satoru's trips back in time, he's sent unexpectedly deep into the past, traveling back 18 years to the disappearance of his former classmate, Keo Hinazuki. As Satoru sets out to solve the mystery, he uncovers secrets that change his life forever. Erased is short and riveting, and as heartbreaking as it is thrilling.
サトル？
嘘だろ？
宇宙には始まりはあるが
終わりはない。無限。
Time travel is a regular theme in psychological thrillers, but few handle the way Steins Gate does. The series follows an eccentric young scientist named Rintaro Okabe who spends every waking moment working on his inventions. After creating what he calls the phone microwave, Okabe discovers a way to travel through time by sending messages to the past. Okabe uses this newfound ability to alter time and reality in an attempt to prevent catastrophic disasters. Unfortunately, his meddling has dire consequences that cost him everything. The series touches on time and its impact on life, as well as the potential consequences that come with altering the course of history. At first glance, Higurashi When They Cry looks more like a typical slice-of-life harem series than a psychological thriller. However, it doesn't take long for the series' true colors to reveal themselves as it explores the horror lurking behind a small town's facade. As Keiichi Mibara explores his apparently peaceful new home in Hinamizuwa, he unwittingly uncovers pieces of the town's dark history. Soon, he finds himself in the middle of a frightening mystery, full of disappearances and murders, leaving Keiichi questioning everything around him, even his own sanity.
ここグレイスフィールドハウスは親がいない子供たちが住むところ。
母と慕う彼女は親ではない。共に暮らす彼らは兄弟ではない。
でもたった一つの事実が現実を覆す。あれは檻だ。
The Promised Neverland is easily one of the most popular psychological anime to come out in recent years. The series features a frightening dystopian world where humans are farmed and shipped out as food for terrifying creatures. One of the rarest delicacies in this horrific world is the meat of young children, leading to the rise of various farms that masquerade as orphanages, where caretakers raise human children and prepare them as offerings to these beasts. After a young trio of friends discovers the truth about their happy home, they take action and plan their escape. Fans join the kids of Gracefield House as they fight to survive in an unforgiving new world, holding on to the hope that they'll find a place they can call home.
先に B クラスを潰すことにしましたので、どんな人間にも表と裏がありますから。
Since its debut in 2017, Classroom of the Elite has earned a spot among some of the greatest psychological thrillers in anime. Today, it's easily one of the most popular titles in the genre. The series follows Kiyotaka Ayanokuji, a student at a very special school. At Kudo Ikusiai Senior High School, students are placed into 4 rankings. Elite students receive special privileges, while the lowest-ranked students are treated like second-class citizens. The school pits its students against each other with this hierarchy, and they'll do anything to advance. Unsurprisingly, this has huge consequences, but their cutthroat tactics become genuinely shocking over time.
このノートに名前を書かれた人間は死ぬ。Death Note.
Since its debut in the 2000s, Death Note has become one of the most famous psychological thrillers in all of anime. The iconic story centers around a brilliant high school student named Light Yagami, who discovers a mysterious notebook. Anytime he writes a person's name on its blank pages, they die 40 seconds later. With the Death Note's power in his hands and fueled by his twisted sense of justice and need for power, Light goes on a killing spree. Touching on many heavy subjects, Death Note challenges its audience and makes them question morality, justice, and the human mind.